Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel leelawebdev. So in the previous video we have learned about the useReducer hook, how it is useful as an alternative for the state property we have seen it, right? Sorry, for the state hook we have seen it, right? But here we have seen with a simple example. Now I want to make it little more complex where the useReducer hook will be very much useful. As I already told you, right? So useReducer hook we will be using it as an alternative for the useState hook when the state is complex. So when you are trying to manage a complex state data, so then it is better for us to use the useReducer hook than the useState. So for example, let's say that I will try to extend this example only. For example, let's say that we are having one div, okay, and here I will be having a step counter, okay, and this step you will be having one select. So I will have one div here, and here I will be having one select drop down, and in this drop down I will be having option 1, okay, and the same scenario 2, 3, 4. So I will be having 2 and also 3 and also 4. So this is a step counter which I will be having, and if you try to see here we are having a step. So for example, let's say that when I am trying to increment this value, it is incrementing by one step it is incrementing. For example, if I try to keep the 4, so this should be 10, so that means 4 steps it needs to increment. So if I click on the plus, it should not be 7, 6 plus 4 it should be 10. So like that we need to do it. So how we can implement this type of scenario in this thing? So normally using the state you will be having another state hook that is nothing but a step count, and you will try to do it. But whereas in this useReducer, so we can implement in a simple way. So how we can implement is, for example, let's say that we will try to take the initial state. So there is nothing but a state only. So how you will be trying to take? So this time I will keep this one as an object. So first one is the count, which is 0, and another one is the step which is default by 1. So now instead of passing this as 0, so previously we used to have only single value, that is nothing but the counter. So we passed 0 directly. But this time we have two state variables, state data, that is nothing but one is a step and also another one is the counter. So that is the reason I have stored it one object, and I am sending this one as an initial state here. That's it. So now we have framed the initial state. Now let's say we are having this select box, okay. So now let's say that we are having this value. This time it will become state dot step, not only count. So this one will become state dot count, and here also that's it. So where is this state coming is, so now instead of having this count I will change it to state. Why? Because it's a combination of both count and the step. So that is the reason I am saving this variable as a state. I am changing this one as a state. So that is the reason I am using state dot step and also state dot count. So everything is done. Now what I want to do is, so value is equal to state dot step, and here on change. So when this one is changed, so I want to set the step, okay. So here you will be having a function. So that is nothing but set step, and this one will be a dispatch function. So automatically you people know about this one, dispatch, and here I will be having type is equal to set step or anything, whatever the property you will be having, and the payload we need to send is the event. You will be getting the event here, and here I will be sending e.target.value. That's it. Now the logic which we need to implement here is will be completely changed. I will try to show you. So now this time what we'll be having, so here we'll be having a state and also the action. So we need to return something. So that is the reason. So what I will try to do, I will try to return the state itself, okay. So let's see the output how it will be here. Let's go to the console, inspect element, and here console, you provided a form on change handler. This will render as a read only. So let's try to refresh this page. Now this time there will be no error. Now if I click on the plus here, so here you will be able to see the state has been changed to count and the step, right. So this time the state is nothing but the initial state, so which is this one, fine, right, it's correct. So we are getting count and step, and now we are getting a value that is nothing but the type is increment. So we need, based on this one, we need to increment the state. So here let's say that we are using the switch only, right. So let's try to use the switch for this one. So that is nothing but action dot type. So we will be taking action dot type previously which we have seen it. So this is our switch statement, and in this switch statement, So first one is the case inc. So for this case, what I need to do, I need to return the state variable, state data. So what is the state data? So this is a combination of an object which is having count and step. So that means the same state data we need to pass it like that only. So that means I need to return the object which consists of count and also, so let's say 0 and also step 1. So here you will be having the increment, right? So that means I need to take the state.count plus 1, state.count plus 1, and here you will be having the step. So like this we need to send it. So here we are having the case and we are sending it like this. So let's try to have it like this. So now what we are trying to send here, so we have sent it like this. So now what it is happening here, so tomorrow if you are having more than one values, means we cannot frame it like this, right? So what can we do is, so instead of having it like this, I can do state here like this, right? So I am doing the object and we are trying to do it. So here the spelling mistake switch. Okay. So now I am taking the state and count state plus count, state.count plus 1. So now if you try to see the output for this one, if I increment here, see it got incremented. So that is how we will be trying to do it. So now the increment has been successfully done. So let's try to implement the decrement also. Decrement, the same thing. So here you will be having the same thing. So I can return the state and this time it will be having -1. So the same thing if you want to have, let's reset, update count. So set count. So let's try to have case set count. Set count. So here we need to take this state, okay, and the count this time will be action.payload, right? So action.payload. So whatever the data we are trying to send it, so we will be doing it like this. And the last one is the set count is completed and another one is the set step. So the same thing, let's try to take the case set step and this time you will be having this one, take entire thing, and this time you will be having the step which should be action.payload. So it should be action.payload. And the last one is nothing but the reset. So we are having a reset. So which means we need to set it to the initial values. So default values. So case reset. So one thing what we can do is, so we can directly return step, count 0 and also step 1. That's it. So this is how you will be implementing the reducer. Now if you try to see the output for this one, so let's refresh this page and I am doing the +1. It is incrementing by single value. Step one step it is incrementing and reset is also doing. Now for example if I increment it by 4, so that means plus means, so it should increment by step 4 times it needs to increment, but this time it is incrementing only by 1. So what is happening here? So when you do the increment also we are doing with the 1 only, but here this should not follow the 1, it should be dynamic and it should follow with the step. So here what I can do, instead of having this one state dot step, and in the same scenario here also I can do state dot step. That's it. Now let's try to see the output for this one. Now if I try to increment the value, it is incrementing, and if I reset, it is resetting. Now I will try to set it to 4 and I will increment it. So see this time it is incrementing by 4 values. All the time it is incrementing by the 4 values. If I do it to 2, now this time it is incrementing by 2 values. If I reset it, so step and the counter is both are getting reset and everything is working fine as expected. So this is how we will be implementing the reducer if you are having the complex state. So this is within the component. So with across the components also we can use it, this useReducer thing, which we will try to use it in our next upcoming videos. Just I want to show you the simple demonstration how the useReducer works and how it is useful in our React application when you are having a complex state data. So what we have did it, so here the simple thing we have did it, and now what I can say is, so this is the same thing we are trying to use it, right? So if you want, you can also copy this one and you can paste it at the top here. Oh sorry, you can paste it at the top here and you can use this initial state in the both the places. So here you can return the initial state and here also you can use this initial state. So this also works fine without any problem. So this is how we will be implementing the useReducer. So these are the scenarios where the useReducer comes into handy instead of using the useState hook. So hope you understood about this one. So what I will try to do is I will commit this code in our new branch. So video -85 Okay, so this is our useReducer hook. Okay, that's it guys about this one. So I completed these things. So if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.